Alright, so let's get this show on the road.
Vroom vroom.
Vroom, vroom, baby. Hey guys, it is Last Bro Heekin, and
And it's Luxboo.
we are coming at you once again with a new excitement, hype, trailer, discussion, however we want to call it, on the game that was just recently announced, Total War: The Three Kingdoms.
Yeah, bitch.
And,
Sorry, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that me and Luxboo here, this was a pair made in heaven.
It really is.
Truly, really and truly is. I am a huge Total War fan. I've played almost all of the franchise. There's probably a few errant smaller releases that I have not gotten to, but Luxboo, I can't honestly think of anyone else besides Luxboo who likes Dynasty Warriors, Three Kingdoms more than you. I mean, shit, it's your name, for crying out loud.
I was gonna say, yeah, the X is silent. It was meant to be silent, but everyone calls me Luxboo. It should be Lubu. But yeah, playing this game is, when I played this game back in the day, like, I got infatuated with the history of China. Even took some college courses, some gen eds on, ancient Chinese history. Fucking love the Three Kingdoms, and I can't wait. Now that I appreciate the Total War kind of side of how that game goes, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and we'll jump right into the actual announcement of it. So, well, let me lay out the agenda first. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the actual announcement trailer itself. Then we're gonna dive into a little bit of what is already known about the game. Then, as we already said, I'm gonna tackle my thoughts and feelings on the whole thing from the Total War side, and then we will pass it back off to Luxboo for the Dynasty Warriors perspective, and then a little outro / little channel update from yours truly at the end. So, without further ado, let's talk about that announcement trailer, because that was pretty tasty, if I must say so myself. They did a very good job with that.
Holy shit. Yeah, it was awesome because it's Lubu who just went ham. It was just like an intense trailer. What was funny too is, like, I kind of noticed Three Kingdoms, but I was kind of out of it at the time. So once, like, I realized, wait a minute, holy fuck, these are actual Dynasty Warrior characters, I was like, my guy, you just found a gem. I can't believe they're actually coming out with this. Because it kind of looked to me, when I watched the video, like it was going to be like Kessen, which, for anyone that isn't aware, is kind of like a Total War, but this is like over a decade ago. It was like a grand strategy, like massive battle thing where you commanded armies and shit. But it was on the PlayStation 2, didn't really, I don't know, really catch wind or anything like that, so they just stuck to the Dynasty Warriors series, which was cool with me. I liked Kessen. It just was a little confusing for me, so I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like that. But I guess that was my initial takeaway. I was just super pumped. Yeah. Super pumped.
Absolutely. I mean,
they made everything look cool. Like, the battle scenes were just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, good God, couldn't have been any more perfect.
Yeah, I mean, one can hope that they can bring that announcement trailer, to life in the actual game itself, which they definitely can. As having played most of the different Total War chapters pretty recently, I mean, the game's obviously the franchise itself has come a very long way.
Real quick, one thing I'm excited about is the potential aspect, and you can speak to this because I don't really know Total War that well. But I'm really excited to actually conquer all of China and unite it myself, as opposed to just following a campaign line like Dynasty Warriors. The Total War gameplay better than anyone else I know. So do you think that would be involved in this?
Absolutely. There's not a whole lot of details out right now about the actual meat and potatoes of the game, but some of the frequently asked questions, one of them on there was, yes, this will be the entire Chinese map put into the game itself, so you will be conquering all of China, and who knows, I'm sure a few outlanding regions as well, since China got pretty big back in its day. So I'm sure you're able to conquer even beyond what would currently be the three kingdoms. So that will also perfectly segues into some of the other details we have about the game. So according to Creative Assembly, the developers behind Dynasty Warriors Total War Three Kingdoms, it is scheduled to be released fall 2018. No specific date on that, but as we know, that can also change.
Well,
quality takes time.
Right.
So you don't want to rush anything too quickly, and I am totally a-okay with that idea. The other thing we found is that, unfortunately, I honestly don't believe that this was a frequently asked question, but of course, for any developer out there, any game publisher, the question of what does early access or pre-ordering get us? And they're already like, yeah, there's definitely going to be something, and it's like, oh, great. Especially because even though the game, all Total War games are primarily meant to be played in a single-player fashion, the thing about Total War is that typically your pre-order bonuses can very much change the game. Like for Total War, Shogun 2 Total War, if you pre-ordered the game early, you got, I think, like 3,000 extra gold, which I immediately kind of am disgusted at and I don't like, but
I don't even know what that means.
It just means that you would start out more powerful than someone who bought it without pre-ordering, and obviously I don't really like the idea of pre-ordering, so what are you going to do, though?
From like a multiplayer perspective?
No, single player.
Oh, okay, so it just gives you like that edge.
Yeah, and just me being a purist about even single player, I don't like it, but I am obviously a only vocal minority. But getting back to the main thing here, but that's really all the information there is out right now about Dynasty Warriors. God, I'm gonna keep doing that. That's the only thing that's out right now.
Total War Three Kingdoms.
Total War Three Kingdoms. I'm sure there will definitely be more to come in the following months. But yeah, I think the next thing we want to jump into, though, is from, we saw a lot of great things from the trailers, even though it was just the announcement, so it's just a completely cinematic trailer that could speak a lot to the game. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I want to touch on that you already have brought up to me quite a few times is the notable characters that they displayed in the game. I know we had Lu Bu, Guan Yu, and then two of the main commanders I at least recognized, but I could not. I think Dong Zhuo.
Definitely Liu Bei, Dong Zhuo.
Dong Zhuo.
Because that's when Dong Zhuo dies, that basically segues into the Three Kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
God, I have to go back. This definitely looks like the Battle of Hulao Gate, though, because you have the three brothers fighting Lu Bu, you have Dong Zhuo facing the coalition against him. So you have the three brothers. And that's basically it, actually. You have Zhang Fei, Guan Yu, Liu Bei. You've got Lu Bu. You've got Dong Zhuo.
Mm-hmm.
They flash a few other names that I couldn't really tell just by looking at them in the animated video, because they look so lifelike.
Yeah, and I think that will probably be something that will maybe come to the disappointment of many Dynasty Warrior fans, is I don't think you're going to see the huge revolving door of characters. Obviously there are going to be the very notable ones, the commanders and the very notable officers that were with them, but in terms of every, I don't even remember how many Dynasty Warrior characters they tacked on, but it was just goes on forever.
Yeah.
But the thing from the Total War side that I'm very excited about is, the most recent large installment for Total War was the Warhammer series, Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2. That Warhammer 2 just recently came out a couple months ago. I have not played that one. I played a little bit of the first one, but I'll be honest in saying that it did not do much for me. I know there's people that are going to be out there who say it is one of the stronger installments of the game, of the franchise, but it just the fantasy aspect of it got lost on me. And this is a guy who enjoys fantasy games, but that part I'm not very familiar with the Warhammer world, and so trying to play through that didn't bring me in at all. Looking at it right now, I only have 20 hours played, and the last time I played it was 5/19/2016. So like it's almost a year. It's been about a year and a half since I've touched the game. But with that, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, well, you better be gearing up for some fantasy shit in the Three Kingdoms, because part of the Three Kingdoms is just, it's so, we're talking almost predated BC or pre-BC, and BC I should say, and like 100 years AD, that through the time and history that a lot of things have become legend and myth and folklore. So some people have been called to have magical abilities even though they likely didn't, but because of how great of a officer they were, you probably will be seeing that in the next game. Hopefully it's not a little too crazy, but I think you might be able to appreciate it more, because I know that you also have some experience with Dynasty Warriors, and I know that you fall asleep a lot during playing it again.
And and that's the thing. So the one thing I am excited about, and the one thing you keep touching on is, and the one thing I did like about Total War Warhammer was Total War Warhammer completely revamped the role of the general in the game, or in the actual battles, and they come to hold a lot more power than what they did in like Rome 2 or Shogun 2 or Medieval 2. They did a lot more than just having a few plain unimaginative abilities. Well, in Rome 2 they had some decent ones, but at least in Total War Warhammer, there was general abilities that could literally change the outcome of what you would maybe think is like a hopeless loss. Like, your general can come through and start doing some crazy magic shit that was like, oh my god, like we just wiped out half the enemy with that. And so that was cool. I'm not exactly looking forward to having abilities like that in Three Kingdoms Total War, but because I definitely find that in terms of my strategy games, I like them more non-fiction than fiction. But I digress. I'm sure there will be, and as you already alluded to, there probably will be maybe some level of magic, or some things that transcend what we know as common knowledge, or transcend what we think is physically possible for human beings. So with that, I will definitely keep an open mind. I'm certainly not discounting this game at all. I'm super excited. I think it would be awesome to have a battle with, like, I still remember my favorite character was Guan Yu, and just being able to just go ham with him in a battle would just be a whole lot of fun. So that's the aspect I'm kind of taking from its predecessors of Total Warhammer and Total Warhammer 2 for the Three Kingdoms Total War, but I think we're going to be pretty impressed with what's going to be happening.
So that was going to be kind of like one of my first questions to you was, well, I may have actually already asked that, but you know the Total War series pretty well. You played a lot of those games. Mm-hmm. You've also played Dynasty Warriors. What are the features of the two being meshed together are you most excited for?
It's got to be the generals and everything like that.
Yeah. I was actually really happy you said that.
Yeah, I think because I remember thinking about it like quite a few times. Like, okay, where's the next installment go for the Total War franchise? Unless they just completely start picking up fantasy titles left and right, it seems like there's not many historical moments in our world history that they can crack open newly. Like, they would just have to redo Medieval 3, make Medieval 3 or Rome 3 which I'm sure they don't want to do yet. So as soon as I saw that it was Three Kingdoms Total War, I was like, oh yeah, that's, especially with where the franchise is heading in terms of how the use of generals, I was like, this was a perfect choice. If anything, this was probably something that they had planned a lot longer ago, and then they just realized that the stars aligned.
Yeah, I was gonna say something along that line too. When you said that they went more fantasy side with Warhammer, and when they picked up Total Warhammer and Total Warhammer 2, it was almost like those were like 2 trial runs, and they really wanted to get this one right. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But I have a feeling that they really picked up that franchise and tried to perfect more of the fantasy as opposed to the complete historical stuff, just to get Three Kingdoms right. Which I hope. I mean, they've had plenty of time to do it. The other thing I was gonna say too was, I remember when I was researching Dynasty Warriors 8 and shit and Koei, that Koei Games, the owners of the Dynasty Warriors franchise, actually put a patent on Dynasty Warriors.
Right.
So I'm actually shocked to see that they're not really and I have to do more research on that just to confirm how this happened.
Wait, are you sure they put I thought they put a patent on a specific technical aspect of the game. They could. There's no way they could patent just the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. They patented the game style of Dynasty Warriors, or the gameplay style, I guess, the Battle of Arena Royale thing or whatever. But still, I mean, to see this go outside of that, I mean, they had to have had approval or permission. Like, Koei has to be involved in this somewhere. There's no way that these guys aren't involved because of they hold on to that shit like it's their baby. Yeah. So again, that's why I thought maybe the developer would be Koei and the publisher is Sega. So based on my research on them as a publisher, they do really good. From a Total War standpoint, they're also really good. But I guess what I really wanted to do is quickly talk about the history and the lore of what's going to be going on in the game, because that's kind of, I think, where I'm stronger at as opposed to where you are in terms of what's going on with this game.
Take it away.
So just for all of you that aren't aware, don't remember, don't know, don't care, especially you that don't care, listen up because you will after this. We're going to be starting this likely around the time of the Yellow Turban Rebellion. The Yellow Turban Rebellion was owned by Zhang Zhao, along with another general, and they led a rebellion because they were being repressed. I think the term that was used was the Gentries. There was a oh crap, what was that? That was can't read my notes here. It was basically a peasant revolt against their emperor at the time. After the Yellow Turban Rebellion got crushed, after that, it starts out with He Jin, who was the main emperor at the time. He conspired with Yuan Shao to overthrow the eunuchs, which, by the way, based on this massacre of eunuchs, there were a shitload of them. I'm like shocked that many people signed up for that, but I don't know. That's I'm like, okay, whatever. So he attempted to overthrow the eunuchs with Yuan Shao, which for all of you that have played the Dynasty Warriors series, that's the guy that led the coalition on Hulao Gate. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, the eunuchs found out. They assassinated He Jin, and this is basically what started the motion of the Three Kingdoms. So Yuan Shao and his brother Yuan Shu attempted to besiege Liaoyang, their north and south palace, where Emperor Shao was. He ended up fleeing, and, well, I should say this is actually the catalyst. Dong Zhuo found Emperor Shao, who had fled the capital at the time, and he escorted him to safety, Dong Zhuo. And at that point, Emperor Shao allowed him to seize control of the capital and rule, and give him the Ministry of Works or whatever. But that basically allowed him to rule the capital, and he became a tyrant. So again, going back to Hulao Gate, Yuan Shao decided to form a coalition, which included Cao Cao, which included Liu Bei and the three brothers, that included Sun Jian, and they basically defeated him. And when they did that, they relocated the capital, and at basically where we're going to see this game, I think, really start is going to be 3, maybe 4 powerhouses. Obviously, we're going to start with Wu, being led by Sun Jian, which I thought was interesting. So Sun Jian actually had no claim or title to the throne, or to be the emperor of China, but there was something called a Imperial Seal, which has been handed down for the last like 2 or 3 dynasties. And because it's been handed down from emperor to emperor of each dynasty, it was thought to be just simply holding that a claim to the title, or a claim to the throne. So he held that. He actually found it too. He didn't like steal it from anybody. He just like stumbled upon it. So he had legitimacy and claim through that right, although he didn't really last that long. He died really quick, replaced by Sun Quan, which I don't know if you remember that guy, but to me, that guy, at least in Dynasty Warriors 3, it looked like he had a carpet on his head. I didn't really know what that thing was about, or why he decided to fight with that thing, but whatever. I digress. So the other 2 guys that we're going to be going with is Cao Cao and Liu Bei, both of which had no claim, but had a lot of power. Cao Cao had a lot of like fighting power, and Liu Bei had a lot of power with the people. He was like the people's champion, basically. He was like the Rock back in like the 100 AD. And he had a lot of persuasion with the people. He swore loyalty to the Han Dynasty, which was basically collapsing. You had, I believe it was Wu in the north. No, that's Wei in the north. Wu in the west, and Shu in the east. And there was a lot of power and struggle going on. But at this point, we're going to all be fighting in the Battle Royale. Yeah. So, it's going to be fun.
Whew. Y'all write that down? There will be a test on that tomorrow. So,
multiple choice.
My God. All right.
2 short answer essays. But, all right. So, anyway, where I was going with that was you can pick. You can be Cao Cao, the strong guy. You can be Liu Bei, the power of the people, or Sun Jian, kind of they're playing in that family dynasty, and try and vie for the control of China.
Yep.
China. And I'm just super excited. I don't even know who I'm going to play as. I might play as Zhang Zhao and actually just win with the Yellow Turban Rebellion. I don't know yet. The world is my oyster. What do you want to do?
It is your oyster. And we can all figure that out in the 10 or so months we have until it is released.
That's true. You know, actually going back real quick though, Dynasty Warriors from like Dynasty Warriors obviously 1 and 2 to like 8. They have actually, well, I should say Dynasty Warriors like 4, 5, and 6, maybe 7 incorporated a shitload of people, playable characters. But in 8, they really kind of downsized it a little bit. I think they kind of thought, all right, we're going a little too heavy with the amount of playable characters. So I think you're going to be right with we're not going to see a lot of unique characters. I think we're just going to see a lot of the main ones. And I actually kind of hope we don't see a shitload of those random guys.
Hopefully. I mean, they'll definitely have to cut down. And obviously, I know the Three Kingdoms is also based on a novel that was written about this time in Chinese history. So I'm sure Dynasty Warriors was pulling from the footnotes and everything on some extra characters for people to play. So I can't imagine Creative Assembly really doing that same thing, at least not initially. Maybe if this was met with huge success, which it could, because obviously, the Chinese gaming market, huge market to tap into, and having a game based on their history, sure gonna get some people going. So
actually, really quick, so if you are from China and you understand English and I fucked up my history, please don't call me out on it. I think I'm close, at least.
Or how about you do, and this is a learning lesson, and the teacher is taught. The teacher becomes the student.
The teacher becomes the grasshopper.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. I think that's going to be
channel
it.
Update?
Yeah. Now we'll move on to the channel update. So if you are new and you're like, I don't know who you are, I'm just here to listen to what you had to say about the game itself, please stick around. But if you don't, we understand.
And while you listen to it, just leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the Total War Dynasty Warriors kind of meshing announcement, because I honestly think we could talk about this a little more, like, into different segments and what we like would really think would make this game really fucking solid.
Let us know. Let us know what you think is gonna be put into the game, and we are more than ready to have a conversation on that.
Oh yeah.
So all right. Channel update. We want to wait to the end, just because if those of you who are listening now were maybe wondering, hey, where you guys been? It's been a few months, and we are all too aware of that. Luxboo and I have had quite a few conversations. I know if you if you've commented on the videos, I know we have done a pretty decent job at getting back at that. But I think
I've really just been trying to like communicate on Twitter. That's been as far as I've really gotten the last few months.
Yeah, well, I know I've at least tried to get to as many of the comments as I could. But yeah, I think I think it kind of boils down to two things. One, the holidays. For us, holidays is always a super busy time. I know I was incredibly busy. Luxboo as well. So that was definitely one thing. And then I think at least the other one for me was that since like I want to say since like October, there just hasn't really been any games, like a lot of great games that have come out.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, it's good games are like small, like short. I don't know what the phrase fucking is, but short picking. Like, a lot of games that I pick or buy, I'm like, oh, this actually looks like a really cool, interesting, unique, awesome concept, and then I play it and I go, well, it seems like there's a lot of different shit going on that just really isn't working, or none of it's detailed enough, or just really not worth making a video on. I don't know. And, also I've just kind of like been, the holiday seasons, I haven't really had even much time to play games unless it's at night. I know a lot of people keep up with my Rocket League stuff on Twitter. Hopefully, I actually on top of like the holiday season, I wasn't hitting like serious computer issues, but for one, my controller broke, so I couldn't use my controller. I love using my controller. Two, I think because of some of the tweaks I made to my computer system over time, like all the Windows updates and shit, started taking its toll. So I just figured I would do a complete system restore. Basically reset my computer, lost all my files and shit. So that's kind of why I fell off the bandwagon. I feel really bad too because I really wanted to make more Guild 3 videos, but I don't know. I thought Steam Cloud would save all my files. It did not. I've got nothing. So I basically, in order to keep things going, I need to just redo it, and I don't really have much, I don't know, interest.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
I'm looking at it right now. And I'm looking at my purchase history in the last 6 months. The last game I bought there's two games I bought that I stuck around long enough to own. One of them was Bomber Crew, which was the last video we have up, and then the other one was Spellforce 3, which I wanted to make a review on because it's an interesting game and there's a lot to be said about what was going on with it, but then the time just ran away from me. So yeah, I'm definitely sticking to that point that there just hasn't been a lot released, but if you've done any sort of reading, or there's probably already 8 billion YouTube videos up on it already, there's a lot to be expected coming in 2018. There's going to be a lot of great things coming out, and we've already touched on a couple of them in our discussion series. So I know this one will be put in the discussion playlist, so please, by all means, scroll down through a few of those. I know which ones am I thinking. U-Boot is going to be one. Frostpunk is another. There is a lot to be seen.
I'm excited about Frostpunk.
Yeah. So I think definitely if you're bummed or sad as to where we were, don't worry. We'll be coming back with some new shit, and it will be great.
New shit. Although there is one game that I've bought recently that like I kind of have been enjoying a lot. Actually, I've made 2 solid purchases, but like they're not games I'd make a video on. But I bought Rising World as like a good chill game, and then not Magic, Hotline Miami. That's a little fun one.
Hotline is fun. I agree.
Yeah, it's a little difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I think from my perspective, because I keep saying I'm gonna do it and I haven't done it yet, and I don't like to be that guy. The next video I will make will be a Rocket League montage. I've compiled enough footage. I am ready to get that shit going.
All right.
Since my restore too. So.
Nice. All right.
Yes.
Well, guys, we don't want to keep you much any longer, as we're just almost rambling at this point. But thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have a good day, and as always,
Happy gaming, gamers.